Hello, Path of Wisdom. In old age, to see someone's true character, pay attention to just 5 things. As we grow older, life offers us a unique vantage point. Our years bring clarity and wisdom, allowing us to better understand people and their intentions. While the world might feel fast-paced and superficial at times, the ability to discern true character is one of the most rewarding gifts of age. If you've ever wondered how to see someone's heart beyond their words and appearances, there are 5 key aspects to focus on. These simple yet profound insights can deepen your relationships, guide your decisions, and bring peace to your soul. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. How they treat the invisible people in their lives. The essence of a person's true character often reveals itself not in their grand gestures, but in the way they treat those society tends to overlook. As we grow older, our ability to discern these subtle interactions becomes sharper. It's not difficult to recognize kindness toward peers, friends, or those in positions of influence. However, the deeper test lies in observing how someone interacts with the so-called invisible people in their lives, those who offer nothing in return and often fade into the background of daily life. Think about the waiter struggling to keep up in a crowded restaurant, the janitor quietly cleaning late at night, or the elderly neighbor who doesn't often leave their house. These are moments of truth where there's no audience to applaud or reward the person for their actions. The individual who acknowledges these people with a warm smile, a genuine thank you, or even a few kind words, displays an empathy that transcends superficial pleasantries. Their humanity is not driven by obligation or expectation, but by a deep-seated belief in the dignity of every human being. On the other hand, someone who brushes past these individuals as if they were invisible, or worse, treats them with impatience or disrespect, reveals something troubling about their values. This lack of compassion often stems from a sense of superiority, insecurity, or an inability to see beyond their own needs. It's easy to extend kindness when it's convenient or reciprocated, but genuine character shines brightest in moments where kindness is offered simply because it is the right thing to do. For those of us in our later years, this observation takes on even more significance. With decades of life behind us, we understand the importance of small gestures. We've seen how a word of encouragement can lift someone's spirits, or how a moment of recognition can affirm someone's worth. Reflecting on these moments, we can't help but notice how powerful such actions are, both for the giver and the receiver. So how can we embrace this wisdom in our own lives? The next time you encounter someone who might otherwise go unnoticed, make a conscious effort to connect. A smile, a kind word, or even just making eye contact can transform their day and perhaps yours too. It's not about making grand statements, but about weaving kindness into the fabric of your daily life. These small acts of humanity remind us of our shared connection, regardless of status or circumstance. In observing others, take the time to notice how they engage in these moments. Do they stop to hold the door for someone who's struggling? Do they acknowledge the cashier with gratitude instead of indifference? These subtle clues often speak louder than any outward display of charm or politeness aimed at impressing others. In these fleeting moments, you'll see the depth or lack of someone's character. But as we watch others, we must also turn the mirror toward ourselves. How do we treat the invisible people in our lives? Are there times when we've been rushed, dismissive, or indifferent? As we strive to understand others, we must also challenge ourselves to grow. Life is a continuous journey of learning and becoming, and it's never too late to start being more intentional about the way we treat those around us. How we engage with those who cannot offer us anything in return becomes one of the purest expressions of our humanity. As we grow older, let us lean into this wisdom and lead by example, showing the world that kindness, respect, and dignity are not bound by age or circumstance, but are eternal values that define who we truly are. 2. How they act when no one is looking. A person's truest self often emerges in the quiet, unobserved moments of life. When there's no audience to impress, no rewards to reap, and no judgment to fear, it is in these unguarded moments that their character is laid bare, stripped of pretense and performance. In the stillness of solitude, actions speak louder than words, revealing the values that truly guide a person's heart. Think back to the times you've witnessed someone doing good when they thought no one was watching. Perhaps it was a neighbor discreetly mowing the lawn of an elderly resident who couldn't manage it anymore, or a stranger picking up litter in a park without seeking recognition. These acts, quiet and understated, are reflections of a deeply rooted integrity, a commitment to do what is right simply because it is right. Such behavior stems from an inner compass, one that does not rely on external validation, but on a genuine sense of responsibility and care. On the flip side, consider those whose goodness fades when the spotlight disappears. Their outward charm may crumble into indifference, or their kind words may dissolve into self-serving actions when no one is there to applaud. These inconsistencies are often telling signs of a character that is more concerned with appearance than authenticity. In a world that sometimes rewards superficiality, it takes courage and moral strength to consistently act with integrity, even when there is no one around to notice. As we grow older, we are gifted with the wisdom to see beyond appearances. We've experienced enough even to know that the loudest voices are not always the most honest, and that true character resides in the quiet gestures, not the grand proclamations. This understanding allows us to look deeper, to value not what someone says about themselves, but what their actions reveal in the absence of an audience. The lesson here is not only about observing others, but also about reflecting on our own behavior. How do we act when no one is looking? Do we remain true to our principles, or do we let them waver when the world isn't watching? These moments of solitude are opportunities to align our actions with our values, to practice kindness and honesty for the sake of our own integrity. In these later stages of life, many of us find joy in the simplicity of giving without expectation. Whether it's quietly donating to a cause, sending an anonymous note of encouragement, or helping a stranger in need, we understand that these acts are not just for the benefit of others, but for the nourishment of our own spirit. They remind us of our capacity for goodness, even in the smallest of ways. When you're trying to understand someone's character, look closely at their private actions. Do they remain kind, generous, and honest when no one is around to see it? Do they exhibit consistency in their values, regardless of whether anyone is there to acknowledge it? These are the markers of a truly authentic person, someone whose life is guided by integrity, not by the need for approval. But just as we observe others, let us also strive to become the kind of people whose unseen moments reflect our highest selves. It is never too late to practice kindness when no one is looking, to give without recognition, and to do good simply because it feels right in our hearts. In these quiet acts, we not only reveal who we are, but also inspire others to do the same. After all, it is in the unobserved corners of life that the brightest lights of humanity often shine. 3. How they handle disappointment or hardship. It is often said that adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. How someone responds to disappointment or hardship lays bare the depth of their resilience, emotional strength, and humanity. Life as we know it in our later years is unpredictable. We've faced challenges, losses, and struggles that tested our limits, and in these moments we saw who we truly were and who others truly are. When everything goes as planned, it's easy to present ourselves as composed, confident, and kind. But when life turns difficult, when plans unravel, and when hardships weigh heavily on the heart, the mask of pretense often slips away. Some people rise to the occasion with grace, humility, and determination, while others succumb to bitterness, blame, or despair. Watching how someone navigates these storms reveals the depth of their character far more than words ever could. Think of the friend who faced an unexpected health diagnosis yet continued to find moments of gratitude and joy, or the family member who lost a job but remained hopeful, supporting others, and despite their own uncertainties. These individuals inspire us not because they never falter, but because they choose to meet life's challenges with courage and perspective. They remind us that strength is not about avoiding pain, but about how we rise after we've been knocked down. On the other hand, adversity can also expose traits we might not notice in easier times. Some people blame others for their struggles or retreat into anger and self-pity, unable or unwilling to find constructive ways to move forward. While these reactions are human and understandable, patterns of blame and bitterness over time often reflect a deeper struggle to accept life's imperfections or to take responsibility for one's own growth. For those of us in our later years, we've seen enough of life to know that hardship is inevitable. We've faced seasons of loss, whether it's the loss of loved ones, health, or opportunities we once dreamed of. But these moments, painful as they are, have also taught us that how we respond matters far more than the hardship itself. Resilience doesn't mean we don't feel the pain. It means we find the strength to move through it and come out stronger, wiser, and more compassionate on the other side. When you observe someone's character during hardship, look for their ability to remain calm and patient, even when the situation feels overwhelming. Notice if they take responsibility for their role in solving problems, or if they focus solely on assigning blame. Pay attention to whether they treat others kindly during their difficult times, or if they let their frustrations spill out in destructive ways. These moments of challenge are the ultimate litmus test for who a person truly is. Yet, as we reflect on others, we must also turn inward. How do we handle our own hardships? Do we meet them with bitterness, or do we seek meaning in the struggle? Do we let setbacks harden our hearts, or do we allow them to soften us, making us more empathetic to the pain of others? These questions are not easy to answer, but they are essential to understanding ourselves and growing into the kind of people we aspire to be. Hardship, while often unwelcome, can also be an opportunity. It is in these moments that we are reminded of what truly matters: the love we give and receive, the resilience we cultivate, and the lessons we pass on to others. When we face life's inevitable disappointments with grace, we not only strengthen our own character, but also offer a model of hope and perseverance to those who look to us for guidance. How someone handles hardship is a window into their soul. It reveals their capacity for growth, their emotional strength, and their willingness to embrace life in all its complexity. For those of us who have weathered life's storms, let us continue to be a testament to the power of resilience by meeting challenges with grace and gratitude. We remind the world and ourselves that even in the darkest moments, the human spirit can shine its brightest. 4. How they treat animals and nature. A person's relationship with animals and the natural world often reveals a profound layer of their character, one that is rooted in empathy, respect, and a sense of interconnectedness. Unlike human interactions, which can sometimes be influenced by societal expectations or personal agendas, the way someone treats creatures who cannot speak or advocate for themselves, and the way they care for the earth beneath their feet, speaks to the purity of their intentions. Think about the quiet beauty of someone who takes the time to feed the birds in winter, water a struggling plant, or pause to admire the sunrise. These small acts of connection with the natural world often reflect a tender and thoughtful soul. Such individuals seem to understand a truth that resonates deeply. As we grow older, we are all part of a delicate balance, and our lives are enriched when we nurture rather than exploit the world around us. The way someone treats animals is particularly telling. There is something inherently humbling about caring for a being that relies on us for its survival. Whether it's adopting a stray dog, ensuring a bird's nest remains undisturbed, or simply showing patience with a pet, these actions show a level of compassion that extends beyond self-interest. People who are gentle and attentive toward animals often carry these same qualities into their relationships with humans. They tend to approach life with a spirit of care, understanding, and a willingness to put others' needs before their own. Conversely, a disregard for animals or the environment can often indicate a lack of empathy or an inability to recognize the impact of one's actions on others. Someone who is indifferent to the suffering of an animal or careless in their treatment of nature may be revealing a troubling disconnect from the world around them. This indifference doesn't just reflect a lack of respect for the planet, it can often hint at a deeper inability to form meaningful connections, even with people. For those of us in later life, our connection with nature takes on even greater significance. Many of us find solace in the quiet rhythm of the seasons or the simple pleasure of a garden in bloom. These moments remind us of the beauty and fragility of life, and they offer us a chance to reflect on the legacy we wish to leave behind. Will we be remembered as stewards of the earth or as people who took more than we gave? Observing how someone interacts with nature and animals provides a window into their values. Do they pause to let a turtle cross the road safely? Do they respect the environment by avoiding wastefulness or by supporting conservation efforts? These actions, though seemingly small, reflect a deeper awareness of their role in the world and their commitment to preserving its beauty for future generations. At the same time, this is a call for self-reflection. How do we, in our daily lives, show care for the creatures and the environment around us? Are there ways we can deepen this connection? Perhaps it's as simple as planting a tree, creating a space for pollinators in our garden, or donating to wildlife conservation efforts. Each of these actions, no matter how modest, reaffirms our bond with the earth and strengthens the legacy we leave behind. Ultimately, how someone treats animals and nature reveals the depth of their humanity. It shows their capacity for kindness, their sense of responsibility, and their understanding of life's interconnectedness. As we age, these truths resonate more deeply, reminding us that the care we extend outward to animals, to plants, to the earth itself, is a reflection of the care we nurture within ourselves. In these acts of stewardship and kindness, we find not only a sense of purpose, but also a profound peace. By tending to the world around us, we honor the simple, enduring beauty of life itself. And perhaps that is the truest measure of character, the ability to see the value in all living things and to act with compassion and care, no matter how small the creature or quiet the moment. 5. How they keep their promises. Few things in life are as revealing as how a person upholds their word. A promise, no matter how small, carries with it the weight of trust, respect, and integrity. It is a bridge between intention and action, and the way someone handles that bridge tells you everything you need to know about their character. In the twilight of life, we recognize that it's not the size of the promise that matters, but the sincerity behind it, and the effort to see it through. When someone makes a commitment and follows through, even when it's inconvenient or challenging, they send a powerful message. You matter. What I said matters. I honor my word. This consistency builds trust, strengthens relationships, and reflects a deep respect for the people around them. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up, being reliable, and valuing the trust that others place in you. On the other hand, broken promises, particularly those dismissed as trivial or unimportant, can damage far more than just the immediate situation. They erode trust, create disappointment, and often leave behind a residue of doubt that's hard to erase. Someone who consistently fails to honor their word, whether by overcommitting, making empty assurances, or simply neglecting the promises they make, reveals a lack of self-awareness or respect for others. These patterns suggest an inability to recognize the impact of their actions, not just on others, but on their own credibility and relationships. For those of us who have lived long enough to witness both the steadfast and the unreliable, we know the profound impact that keeping a promise can have. It's in the friend who remembers to call on a difficult anniversary because they said they would, or the neighbor who shows up to help with a task despite their own busy schedule. These acts, small though they may seem, have a lasting power because they are rooted in care and accountability. Keeping promises also reveals how a person values themselves. Following through on commitments requires discipline, self-awareness, and a sense of responsibility, not just to others, but to one's own integrity. When someone respects their word, they reinforce their sense of identity as someone trustworthy and dependable. In contrast, those who habitually break promises may struggle with deeper issues, perhaps a fear of disappointing others, a tendency to prioritize short-term convenience over long-term trust, or even a lack of understanding about their own limits. But as we consider how others treat their promises, we must also look inward. How often do we honor the commitments we make to ourselves and others? Do we keep the promises that no one else will hold us accountable for? The ones that involve our personal goals, self-care, or relationships? These promises, though often invisible, are just as significant as the ones we make publicly. Staying true to them nurtures our self-esteem and sets an example for those around us. Life has a way of testing the promises we make, particularly in difficult times. It's easy to follow through when everything is going smoothly, but the true test of character comes when honoring a commitment requires sacrifice or effort. It's in these moments when someone finds a way to show up despite obstacles, when they prioritize their word over their convenience, that their true nature is revealed. These acts are not about perfection. They are about persistence and the genuine desire to do right by others. To truly understand someone's character, observe how they handle their promises. Do they honor them with care, even when it's difficult? Or do they let them slip away, excusing their neglect with reasons that serve only themselves? And as you do, take a moment to reflect on your own commitments. Are there ways you can be more intentional, more reliable, and more mindful about the promises you make? In the end, keeping promises is more than just a measure of reliability. It is an expression of love, respect, and connection. It binds us to each other, strengthening the relationships that give life its deepest meaning. For those of us who have walked this earth long enough to appreciate the value of trust, let us strive to be the kind of people whose promises are kept, not out of obligation, but out of a heartfelt desire to honor the bonds we share. It is through these acts, large and small, that we leave behind a legacy of dependability, kindness, and true integrity. The legacy of true character, a life well lived. As we journey through life, especially in our later years, we come to understand that true character isn't revealed through words or grand displays. It shines through in the quiet, unguarded moments. It's found in how someone treats the invisible people in their lives, how they act when no one is looking, how they face hardship, how they connect with the natural world, and how faithfully they keep their promises. These 5 insights are not just measures of others. They are mirrors that reflect our own humanity and guide us toward becoming the best version of ourselves. Life has taught us that superficial charm fades, and material success holds little value without a strong foundation of integrity and kindness. What truly matters is how we live our values, how we treat others, how we contribute to the world around us, and how we honor the commitments we make to ourselves and others. These are the qualities that endure, the qualities that define a life well lived. As you reflect on these lessons, remember that it's never too late to refine your character or deepen your connection to others. Each day offers a new opportunity to show compassion, to honor your word, to persevere in the face of challenges, and to appreciate the beauty of life's small yet profound moments. These are the legacies we leave behind, not in what we own, but in how we made others feel, in the trust we built, and in the kindness we shared. True character is not about perfection. It's about striving. It's about choosing love, humility, and gratitude, even when it's difficult. It's about recognizing that every interaction, no matter how fleeting, holds the power to uplift another's soul. In doing so, we find that the more we give to the world, the richer and more meaningful our own lives become. So as you move forward, carry these lessons with you. Observe deeply, act intentionally, and live authentically. In doing so, you will not only understand others more clearly, but also strengthen the quiet, enduring light within yourself. After all, in the twilight of our lives, it is not the things we owned or the titles we held that will define us. It is the love, trust, and humanity we gave to the world that is the truest measure of character, and that is the legacy worth leaving behind. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.